Good morning, and welcome to another edition of To The Point. It is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. Those of you joining us on the GBN Television Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, GBN Channel 7, 11, and 20, and the loyal listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, and as usual on this day of the week, we facilitate a representative of the National Democratic Congress. In studio with me is, I could call him a co-host by now, innit? Mr. Kennedy Roberts, Deputy Chair of the party, and we are joined by the Assistant General Secretary of the Southern Zone, Maria Roberts Pascal. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning, Blossom. Good morning to all your listeners.
How has March started for both of you? Quiet?
Quiet, but March is always a nice month for me because tomorrow is my wife's birthday.
Well, tell her happy birthday in advance for me.
Certainly will.
Thank you.
It's a nice start to the month.
Oh, I agree. All right. Well, let's hope March is filled with prosperity for everybody, because the way 2020 starts is like...
It's flying already.
Anything can happen.
We're already in the first quarter.
All right. So, speaking of how the year has started, one of the more prominent issues on board is the COVID-19 coronavirus. And as Mr. Roberts, you are deep into the healthcare, as I say. The party's latest concerns, really, as it relates to COVID, since we've heard that there are cases in the region as well.
Yes, and this is an issue that is of national importance, regional, global importance. It has not yet been declared a pandemic by the WHO, but it has been spreading more and more, and now it has actually reached the Caribbean. Actually, we were on the same program a few weeks ago when that first plane of Chinese came in, and we were cautious, and we said, we need to be reducing the risk of this thing reaching Grenada, and the way in which things happening secretly, quietly, it was of concern. Well, now the government has recognized that the protocols in place, protocol suggested that from PAHO and CARFA and so on, it's implemented, and based on what we heard yesterday, some Chinese who came in were not allowed to disembark because of the protocol in place. So we want to reiterate the importance of maintaining the protocol, and while the protocol is important, what is of even greater importance is the way we manage ourselves, the basic public health practices that we advocate for this, for not spreading the cold and other infectious diseases, other contagious diseases. Washing your hands properly with soap for 15-20 seconds. One of the things that they say, when you're washing your hands, you should sing a nursery rhyme. So even Baba Black Sheep, Mary had a little lamb. So it gives you a way of washing your hands for that 15-20 seconds in a structured way. So tell children of the importance of using the soap to wash their hands, and coughing in your sleeves, and these basic public health practices we need to encourage. So we want to... the party is going to be putting out a release again, acknowledging that this is real, it's in the region, and we are concerned. We want to be part of the process because it's a national effort needed. So we want to reassure the people out there that we will be monitoring what's going on. We'll be involved in giving our feedback. We don't want to create panic, but we want to be on top of things. So we are glad to see that the government is maintaining the protocol, and we hope it is across the board, and we don't have any flights coming in at weird hours of the day and night and saying, well, we're not sure who on it, and I want to tell our acting chief medical officer that he needs to be factual and open. Once you start saying, well, I have to wait to get permission to say this and say that, and I have to wait to clear it and so on, it gives people a suspicion that you can twist things.
I guess it's part of keeping protocol as well. Yeah,
but he needs to be factual and open to the public, and if he knows that something is a fact, state it and say, well, we're for. But when he say, I'm not sure, I'm not ready to comment on this, and it gives people a question in their mind that we don't want to have from our professionals.
What assistance is the NDC prepared to lend in the event that there's a case in Grenada and we have to deal with that here at home?
Well, the fact that the government has ultimate responsibility, we are there to advocate, we are there to monitor, we are there to advise, we are there to spread the word about the importance of the basics. We are there to give support in whatever way we can. We have public health professionals, not only in Grenada, but internationally, that are sharing advice and give. So we are there to monitor what is going on. We are there to keep the public informed, make them know that the NDC is monitoring what is going on. We are fully on top of things on a day-to-day basis. Before coming here, of course, I checked from the CDC website. I'm seeing what is happening globally, and we just have to give the support and make the public know that this is not a partisan issue. This is a health issue. This is a public health issue that would affect anybody, which it doesn't look and say who green and who yellow and who will target it. So we have to make the region, the country aware that it's in the region, and it's just a matter of time that people are saying it's going to spread more. So we just have to hope for the best, but be prepared. And I'm sure that our health workers are doing what they can within the limited resources. They've been through simulations, and I feel confident that we're working towards it. And the NDC is willing to keep their voice out there and make the public know that we're monitoring things.
And Blossom, can I say
Sure.
good morning to the viewing and listening audience on GBN? I'm a retired nurse. I've been a nurse for the past 40 years, and I was also part of the Ebola thing in the airport. What advice I think we could give to the Ministry of Health, which I personally recommended, is we have to be proactive. It seems as though the world, we went from Zika to chikungunya to Ebola and different things like that. So we know next year something will happen again. So what the government need to do is to prepare a quarantine station. There are spaces in the airport, as I suggested, they could build a quarantine station. So when things like that happen, they are ready to tackle the issue than waiting and for having everybody to be panicking. So I think, that's one of the suggestions I think that they maybe should follow to save the panic, because I'm sure something else might come up next year. Every year something new coming up.
You mentioned health, and I was also reminded of the closure/relocation of the Supreme Court registry. What are the NDC's thoughts on that and the fact that it has gotten to the stage where it's an urgent issue?
Well, you see, this again is a reflection of the way the NNP administration manages our country. They are not focusing on the problems affecting our people and trying to address it. They're trying to maintain power at all costs, and they're trying to make the books look good, so they would avoid spending money where it needs to be spent to say, well, we have a surplus and the economy booming and we're growing by X, Y, and Z. These are the issues that really highlight to Grenadians that all is not well. How could you be waiting until something is a crisis and it's been talked about for years and years and years. The NDC had a proposal for the Court of Justice, the Halls of Justice. Plans were in place, but because of this petty political reality that once a former government start doing something and they might look good, we don't continue. But this is another indication that we are waiting till things fall like the Molyneux Road before we really take some action. And again, I would say that what is happening in our country with our infrastructure is really a visual representation of what is happening with this government. They're crumbling at the seams, and they're not able to deliver to the people of Grenada what is really needed for our sustainable development. And this is why the NDC, under the leadership of Sister Franca now, is feeling energized. It's feeling that if we don't step forward and give Grenadians some hope, if we do not look at Grenada in a non-partisan way, but this is the politics of it. Sister Franca is talking and making it clear that she's there for every Grenadian. And the NDC is really trying to put forward a plan now that would try and involve people to help us deal with the struggles of Grenada now. So what is happening in the registry is just another example that the government is not spending the resources where they need to spend it just to say that the country booming.
Sunday, God willing, March 8th, it is International Women's Day. The NDC has any plans to commemorate this international occasion?
Well, as one of the interim executive of the NDC Women's Arm, we have 3 activities going on. In the south of St. George's South, there's a luncheon at the People's Park, the Common Park, on the 6th of March, and that's between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m.
That's Friday.
That's Friday.
Right.
So ticket is $15, and they could call and get tickets from the headquarters in Mungay. The number is 435. I think it's 4917. I think that may be the number. St. David, on the same day, Friday, March the 6th, they're having a Carib Happy Hour, and that's at the Canal. So it's also in celebration of the International Women's Day. But the main activity is on Sunday, March the 8th, and that's at the River Sally Government School from 1 p.m. We're having a family fun day. We're inviting everybody, mom, dad, children, everyone. It's family fun day, and it starts from 1 to 5:30, followed by a mini rally. And we're having 3 speakers. We're having our great PL, Ms. Ranka Bernadine. We're also having Ann John, who is the caretaker for St. Patrick East, and our Senator Karine James. Now, for the River Sally Family Fun Day, from 1 to 5:30, we having, bouncing castle for the kids, we having food and drinks and so on. But one of the main itinerary is we having 4 booths. One will be health checks. And health is very important. As I say, as a retired nurse, I realize that health is at a crisis in Grenada. So we'll be doing blood pressure checks. We'll be doing blood sugar checks. We'll be giving people advice on diet. I'm having someone who retired from food and nutrition to come and help people to able to eat healthy. Grenada food is healthy, but we tend to go for the foreign food. So she'll be there to advise on, how to eat healthy and so on. And the big thing now is domestic violence. So we're having about domestic violence, child abuse, and child sexual abuse. And as International Women's Day, we know long before women fought for rights, rape, a wife couldn't cry rape because it was a man's right. A woman belongs to a man, and no matter what, that was tolerated. But now it's not so. So we were hoping to get somebody from Social Development, the Ministry of Social Development, to come and talk on that. On the other booth is a membership drive. Right now, with the party so energized, we're trying to get new members to join the party to help salvage Grenada. So we also will have a membership drive, and the 4th booth now is a political leader will be there, and people will come and ask whatever questions they want to ask or hear a point of view on running Grenada, transforming the country. And it's International Women's Day, and she's a great woman. She has 5 children, so at least she's able to talk to people on how she managed to take care of those 5 kids and so successful and woke. And a lot of people think that it's impossible, but you just have to organize yourself. And maybe that's one of the reasons why we chose as political leader, to have 5 kids and to be so successful. You have to be able to manage. And I always say, if somebody manage their home, they should be able to manage a country. So it will be a great day. We're inviting everyone to come out. We'll have fun, getting to know, the members, meeting new people and so on. So we're inviting everyone to come out to River Sally Government School, Plainfield, on Sunday the 8th.
So people from the executive of the party will be there, and so other members of the executive, other members of senior members of the party, former political leaders, they're going to be around chatting with people, and it's a family fun day, so you could cook your basket of food and come up there and share, put a little extra something there to share with the people around, and it would be really a family day. The little rally will start about 5:30 the evening, because we know it's a Sunday, so we don't want to stay too long. So it's not a long set of speeches and so on, but a few things. Of course, we're going to build in the little culture in between, and of course, music, and it's going to be a real vibes that we were asking persons to come out and mingle with the party, and especially in this new phase of rebuilding, where Sister Franca's leadership is really resonating with the public now. The constituency leadership is working. There was an election in St. Andrews Northwest even just last night for a new constituency branch executive. So the party is moving in throughout the country. They're working towards strengthening the party, and this is the time for persons to step forward and show their interest, show their willingness to get involved with the party. And the doors are open, so come out on Sunday and mingle and fill up the party form and get involved at that level.
Why did the party see the need to recognize International Women's Day in this manner?
Well, I think the first and foremost, Sister Franca's leadership is resonating with the country. And while it is recognized, it might be with a statement historically, we felt that we should do something more. And the party is planning a series of national activities every month, every quarter for this year. So this is one of the activities that we scheduled for this first quarter to, as we're in the rebuilding mode, as we're in the strategizing. We've been meeting, we've been having retreats, we've been having workshops, we've been really getting this strategy together. We're fine-tuning our vision on our missions, our core values. These are the things that Sister Franca wants us to establish early in her leadership. Let us clarify how teams work. Let us see how the teams is just gelling. Because when we take on this challenge of a campaign, we are aware that the NNP resources is almost bottomless. We know that they have an infrastructure in place that they know how to win an election. They've shown it many times. They've won 15-0 back-to-back. But what we're going to show them is that this time around, Sister Franca's leadership and the team that is gelling around her is going to ensure that the petty politics is not going to work. And Grenadians are going to see the importance of really focusing on the country rather than party. And this last election in 2018, all this thing about oil and gas and how we booming and how things going nice, people are catching their tail. Cost of living is a crisis situation. You know, people are having difficulties meeting their day-to-day expenses. These are the realities on the ground. So having this International Women's Day activity is really to promote Sister Franca's leadership, to give her an opportunity to speak to the people, to give her an opportunity to be on the ground so people can come together. And as a result, we saw it important to do this in this first quarter.
Also, I know this one is focused, but NDC Women's had been part of other International Women's Day celebration together with the Ministry of Social Development. But as Kennedy said, because of Sister Franca, and if you notice that the new executive is 50% women and 50% strong women who could handle themselves in whatever field that they're in. So I think, it's very important that Sister Franca will be there. She was the best Minister of Education, and we know education is the key to get anybody out of poverty. And even both sides, the opponents, NDC, everybody knew that she was the best Minister of Education. So sometimes it's good to put people on that stage. So now, March 8th this year, she as political leader, we have 3 female GenSec, we have a female PRO. So it's time to show the strength of women, and especially to talk about where women came from since the International Women's Day celebration started in 1911, when women couldn't vote. Women were not allowed to work. Women wouldn't allowed to own properties and so on. So we have to tell our young ones, and especially the youth. We know there's an issue with youth and voting, and youth in understanding the history of following things that, the struggle that people went on and fought for. So I think Sunday will be an ideal time to let, especially the youth, let them know that there is hope with Sister Franca. Education, education, education. And as I say, she's well known in the region, internationally, as the best Minister of Education Grenada ever had, and the difference the positive difference that she made in the region. So we'll be there, to celebrate with her. And as I said before, a great woman, 5 kids, very successful. So that's something I think NDC have, and on March 8th have an opportunity to celebrate.
We also want the men to show support to our women, because you see, when you're a team, when the man and the woman can work together to bring up the kids and really play their role in supporting each other, you become stronger as a family. And men have to realize that we have an important role to play in recognizing our women and helping build their self-esteem, because a lot of men, and sometimes I catch myself doing it too, we get critical for little nonsense, and we have to realize, especially when a woman is about to have her period, she gets a little irritable, she gets the hormones kick up, and we men have to recognize that and be supportive and realize that our role in helping build the family is critical. So we can't leave it to the women alone. So I'm encouraging the men to come out to and show your support for women, especially if you have a strong woman in your life and you're proud of that, the work that woman is doing. You know, and I tell people a lot of times, I am blessed to have been married for almost, boy, there's loose count now.
The fuss is
long. You know, 30-something years of marriage, you know, and it doesn't come easy. It's a struggle, and having a good, supportive woman in your life is really an asset. So we have to recognize the role that women play transcends just being a woman and making children, but it's a role in building your family and building your community and building your nation. So with Sister Franca's leadership, we're encouraged, and we're trying to encourage women generally and men also to give more support to our women. Don't be abusing them and feel that you have a right to hit them and thing as your property. No, show them that love, and the party is really coming out on Sunday to show the love for the women.
On that note, let's take a break. This is To The Point on Classic and the GBN. Keep it locked. We're going to be right back.
Think of Grenville Cooperative Credit Union, what comes to mind? A reliable financial institution that has stood the test of time. Maybe you think about the convenience and quality financial service they provide. Do you think about their readiness to help you retire, achieve your academic goals, build your dream home, buy the piece of land or the elegant car? Or maybe the convenience of their different locations, Jubilee Street in Grenville, the sub-office at Belmont Estate, or the new outlet on Lucas Street in St. George's in the Derek Sylvester building. Maybe you always consider how they're always a phone call away. 442-8602 or 438-4228. They're also online, www.grencu.org. No matter what comes to mind, remember, Grenville Cooperative Credit Union is the best place to save and to borrow, working with you to make your brighter tomorrow.
Stomp out careless or intentional bushfires, dead out. Youths, hunters, smokers, let's prevent bushfires. Here's why.
Yeah, bushfires. The shorelands where crops should be. Bushfires. Can lead to food scarcity. Threaten biodiversity. Cause water shortage, water calamity. Bushfires in watersheds deplete water quality. Threaten property, life and security. Bushfires set intentionally, water sanity.
Bushfires can cost millions in losses annually and are often caused by careless or intentional actions indictable under the law. Forests are life-giving. Save them. A message from the Fire Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force and the Caribbean Open Trade Support.
Hi, I'm Francis Urias Peters. To really know who I am, you must look at the plays that I've written over the past 30 years, because they reflect hard work, discipline, and my inner beliefs. Now, these values were shaped by my earlier bringings, because I was always curious about my roots and my identity as a Caribbean man. Now, I'm a good listener, and K105 has always been a great source of education and entertainment. Now, while the station name may have changed over the years, it has always provided valuable information which enabled me as a playwright to document and to celebrate our history, our behavior, and our achievements. K105 is my choice. It's the national station.
That's not how you cross the pedestrian crossing.
Really? One day I just woke up and I saw pedestrian crosswalks on the road. No one really showed me how to use them properly.
Well, this is how it's done. You never cross before doing these things. They might save your life. First, First, when you get to the crosswalk, you stop. You look left, you look right. If there's a vehicle coming, you put your hand out, making eye contact with the driver, indicating that you want to cross. And only when the vehicle comes to a complete stop, you quickly cross to the other side.
Stop, look, hand out, eye contact. Wait for pedestrian to cross to the other side, then you happily continue on your journey. This message is brought to you by this group of insurance companies, the Traffic Advisory Body, and the Traffic Department.
Welcome back to The Point. We are speaking with representatives of the National Democratic Congress, Deputy Chairman Kennedy Roberts, and the Assistant General Secretary for the Southern Zone, Maria Roberts Pascal. Before I go to the phone lines, Ms. Pascal, from your view, are there any national issues related to women as we get ready to celebrate and commemorate International Women's Day on Sunday? Are there national issues related to women specifically that you think need to be addressed?
Well, the two things, most important things that is on the horizon now is the treatment of the teachers. And I think one of the main reasons is that because the majority of teachers are female, and we tend to undervalue the role of anything that women does. We look at the teachers. A child spends most time awake with a teacher than with parents, because school is from 8 to 4, they reach home at 5, they go to bed at 8. So actually it's just 3 hours they spend with the parents. And for someone to work 40 years and not have a pension to go home to or to retire in poverty, I think it does injustice to that person. And I'm sure maybe I'm not trying to be sexist, but maybe if it's a man, we will fight more to make sure that these people, these teachers go home and be comfortable to live the same lifestyle that they were living when they were actually teaching. And the nurses, as I said, as a retired nurse, I know what it's like to be dedicated. Sometimes you spend 8 hours on duty, 9, 10 hours, sometimes 12 hours as a midwife doing a delivery. You will not leave that patient until that patient delivers. And most of the time, 24 hours a woman in labor. And to have someone going overseas and saying that teachers are nurses are thieves and so on, I think it's very disrespectful. Nurses, we need to respect the female. They're very important. Nursing job, teaching job is two of the most important role in order to keep people well, keep people active, keep people as we said, the wealth, the healthcare is very important. So I'm hoping that in the near future that we will have, nurses will get better treatment. They'll be able to get what they're asking for. There'll be more nurses. I'm sure there are ways that we could increase the amount of nurses on duty. Maybe we could go back to the old-fashioned way. I don't know, Kennedy, as teaching in SGU, when you had student nurses on the ward, they part of staff and so on. So maybe there's other ways that we could look around to make sure that we have adequate amount of nurses on ward. For own sake, because you imagine you're sick and only one nurse is on duty, 2 nurses on duty. I had a friend who delivered 3 months ago, and it was very scary. She went to the maternity unit. She said there was 5 patients in labor. So 5 patients in labor is 10 patients, because you have the baby to look after, and there was only 1 midwife. And it was very scary. I know she said she would write it in the paper because it was shocking. Fortunately, she had a midwife who was off, came in to support her, and that midwife had to help that midwife on duty. So those are the things I think the people of Grenada should really give support to the nurses and teachers, especially for International Women's Day.
Okay.
These are some of the realities that make you think of the quality of life we are living in Grenada now. And while we are blessed in many ways, and I'm not saying that Grenadians are not blessed, we have a lot of good things going for us. However, our government is not showing the sort of love and leadership that we need. They're not showing an integrated approach. So even the health sector or health workers are not given attention and priority. You know, we're doing a few little things with the management information system, but it's not coordinated with the National Health Insurance Program, with the quality of care in our health centers. Unless we can feel confident as Grenadians to get up and go to a health center and know that we're going to get quality care, to me, that is one of the key indicators to where we're going in the health system. And Grenadians need the basics. We need to focus on wellness rather than wait until we're sick and realize how expensive it is to get care. So we need to focus on wellness and really look at Grenadians' health in a more holistic way.
It's time to now open the phone lines. 435-2041 is the number to call and get on the inside. You can also WhatsApp that same number, 435-2041. Do not voice or video call the WhatsApp. We can't take those calls, but type your questions, queries, concerns, and I will relay them to our guests for you. If we can please keep our comments and questions to 3 minutes or less, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's take our first phone call off the program. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Blossom, and to your in-studio guests, Mr. Roberts and Mrs. I'm not sure, I can't get the name right.
Pascal. Good morning.
Pascal, yes. Good morning to you guys. And also to all your listeners and all the followers. Two quick things. The first one is to do with the registry. And I tried to get on the program yesterday, but I didn't. And Blossom, I remember you reading in the news one morning about the 38 projects that the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Works was saying that were about to be rolled out. And ironically, the very evening, the news about the imminent closure of the registry made news. Can you recall if any of those, if the registry is one of those 38 projects that are being rolled out?
I can't recall.
You can't recall. Because, it just shows. Ironically, one of those projects, I think, is the York House, which is just next door to the registry. And I'm not sure what plans they have for it yet, but it seems as though they're rebuilding that one. But there's so many things that are crying out, and it just shows you where the priorities are. On the matter of COVID-19, I am very, very concerned. It is not our thing. We shouldn't try to politicize healthcare. We have to be so careful. But I am very concerned. You know why? I listened to the program last night, and I thought I was listening to a magic show. Everything you ask, there's a lot of giggling, and almost every question you ask, they're telling you, don't worry, trust us. My mother told me, if anybody tells you, trust them, don't worry, but they're not giving you information, run. Unless that person's name is spelled G-O-D. So you keep saying, don't worry. And when you ask questions, no, we're taking care of that. I think we need full disclosure. This is a very serious thing. And in contrast to what was said before, that the death rate is higher than the seasonal flu, this is so wrong. The death rate for the seasonal flu is 0.95%, less than 0.1%. And the guesstimate for this one is 2%, which is 20 times more deadly. I believe, based on what we're seeing now, but that was a guesstimate, it may be about 4%. So we mean it may be 40 times more deadly than the flu. The flu is killing many people because many people are catching it. This one is not yet here. So we have to be very careful about information that's given, especially at the highest level. I think that the government should give us an opportunity to own this thing. It's a national concern. The people who are dealing with disaster preparedness should be involved. Barbados was very open. The Prime Minister said on Sunday, they're going to take up an old base, refurbish it, prepare it, train people, equip it.
All right.
We are not hearing. Let me just quickly finish.
Just very quickly, you're over the 3 minutes.
I think we need to know what is happening. There may be people in the public who have facilities they can make available. It could be a church group who may have a hall that they no longer is using. Where are we planning to put people should there be an outbreak? We need disclosure, we need involvement in the public, and we need to give the public an opportunity to make a contribution to this thing, which is ours. It's not the government's baby, it's our baby.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much. I have to leave it there. You are almost 4 minutes, actually. Any responses?
The response I will make is that COVID-19 must be taken seriously. But we must also be factual, and the government and the Ministry of Health must give information that makes you feel confident that what they're telling you is really the truth. We know based on the experience of other countries now that certain categories of the population are at greater risk. Older persons who have immune problems, who are sicker and so on, they have a higher death rate with COVID-19 than the younger population. Very few persons under the age of 18 have been dying from COVID-19. So we know that the risk factor is different for different categories of the population. And that is why it is important that it's a national effort, getting people involved, make you aware. And we know the transmission is what's the problem. So if we are aware that how it can be transmitted and the way in which we should behave, I'm not sure if the government is moving toward getting the masks that are appropriate to address it, but we have to be prepared, and I am hoping that they're taking measures to ensure that Grenada has some of these masks, that if in the case that it's here, we are well protected. I know the customs and immigration and certain people are a thing, but for the general public, we also have to be prepared.
Back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Good morning, Blossom, and good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
I want to support Mr. Bernard 100%. Your question I wanted to ask, you asked it already, but I want to ask the people of the NDC to do something, because I listened to that program last night, Beyond the Headlines, and Blossom, I'd like you to tell them Beyond the Headlines is a call-in program, and people should be given time to call in. It seems like they're dodging the ball. They're letting the game go right to almost to the end and letting one or two persons call. It is a call-in program, so give people half time. And I would like the NDC to do, because I didn't hear anything about that in the program last night. But what I want them to do is to do something, and the thing I want them to do is to see if they could put together a medical team and ask permission from the Ministry of Education to go into all the schools and start demonstrating and explaining to the children in the assembly hall or in the classes, whatever it is, so that they could bring the information back to their parents. A lot of people don't listen to the media. They don't read. They don't do anything. They don't look at TV. They don't listen radio. So please do something in the schools. The situation is already upon us. So we need to do something. And Ms. Pascal, thank you so much for raising the issue of the pension. I am a pensioner. 2 years now I left, and I have not gotten my nothing. We are suffering, and the government now is taking our pension money and give freely to people who sit down in the house making children and just go down and collect at the end of the month. That is what they're doing with our pensioners' money, giving it to persons, young people who could work and make a contribution to the society. They're giving it to them free. Have a good day. God bless you all.
Thank you, Paula.
Also, one of the things that I would like, as somebody who has passed through the Ministry of Health, is to be proactive. I think we tend to be reactive. When something comes in from overseas, then we try to do things to help salvage it. As I said, if they build a quarantine station, the airport has a lot of land. You could build a quarantine station. That could be used for anything if there's nothing going on. But once things like this happen, then they don't have to worry. You have the mask, you have the gowns, you have everything there. So all we have to do now is to have, as Kennedy said, a well-trained person. Because things like that, you don't take any nurse, a nurse that works in pediatric or maternity nurse or med-surg nurse. You don't take those people and put them into a isolated area. And I had advised them too, at the time of the Ebola, send a team of nurses to Cuba. Send them, because I sure it would have been free, and you're well trained, because there are certain ways to put on your mask. There are certain ways to put on your gloves. There's a certain way to discard the gloves. That even if you have it on and you don't know that way to put it on, you'll get infected. Even the gowns. So I think the Ministry of Health, we don't want to politicize this thing, because this thing is serious. So we as the NDC will, as the lady said, maybe willing to work with the present administration to help solve this problem that's going on. But we need someone somewhere to get the people that's coming, and we may not know, but have them there, have trained nurses to get. And the thing about it is, I, as a nurse that trained overseas, I was so pleased with the quality of training the Grenadian nurses have, because the thing is, because they're so constricted with a lot of the equipment and things in Grenada, they cannot show their skill. Is when they go to the outside world, you will see how great Grenadian trained nurses are. So they could send at least 5 trained nurses. Maybe, well, right now traveling is restricted, but wait until the crisis is over and get 5 nurses overseas to train them into infection control and so on, and the country will be safer.
A question on the Facebook says, Mr. Budlal said on a radio program last Sunday that the NDC will be glad if the virus reaches Grenada, just to blame Dr. Keith Mitchell. Is that an honest statement made by Mr. Budlal?
Don't even this kind of propaganda and this nonsense.
We don't.
You see, some people go to the extreme with their nonsense, and this doesn't even warrant an answer.
Okay. So he didn't make the statement?
I don't know if he made the statement, but if he made the statement, that's ridiculous. You know, how could a party, say they would be glad? You think, as I said earlier, you think this coronavirus saying, we know you support NNP, so we'll hit you. And this is so nonsensical.
Nonsense.
Anyway.
Nonsense. No comment.
To the retired nurse, what concrete plans does the NDC have to deal with the issues of nurses, hours of work, and contract work?
The thing about it is that once as an opposition, you really cannot disclose your plans, and whatever plans an opposition have, even if you propose it to the government, they wouldn't listen to you.
But you have plans in mind.
I have plans that I will suggest. If I'm only a party member, I'm not part of if there is a government, but if I'm invited to be part of the government with the people who are working with the Ministry of Health, I am willing to give them advice on which way we can improve the healthcare system.
Okay, let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning.
Good morning to Blossom, and good morning to Kennedy and to the lady. Welcome to GBN. We are glad to have you. I remember distinctly under the leadership of Sister Jenny Simon, NDC Women's Arm held Women's Day rally in St. Patrick's and in St. Andrews, so we are accustomed to having such function. On this occasion, we just want to salute all of our women who have gone before, who have paved the way for us in Parliament, Miss Nadia Benjamin and others. They are still alive. We just want to say thank you, and we salute all the women of Grenada, Blossom, and all the nurses and everybody else. We say, take a bow. We are very proud of you, and we continue to do well in Grenada. Have a blessed day, and remember to keep Lent holy. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. There was a comment on the WhatsApp. Mr. Roberts, please don't go there. Do not attack the acting chief medical officer.
No, I didn't attack him. All I said is that he needs to be factual, because in the last week, you and GBN had a story that Tony Julian announced. Right now, go online. You're hearing the headlines and the closure, but the story gone, where Dr. Martin was not being totally factual about who came in on a certain plane. So the story on GBN say, well, he said one thing and then the story is gone. So I'm not hitting at it. This is my good colleague. He was my student. I know Dr. Martin a very long time ago, and I know that he's under a lot of pressure with this thing, because this is a big issue to be leading the charge on. I know that there are a lot of issues that he has to be careful about, but at the same time, I'm just advising him that he should be more professional in his approach and be careful of what he says, because it can be misinterpreted.
Good morning.
Hello, morning. How are you all doing?
Not too bad.
My brother by another mother. And you know who's talking. How are you doing, sir?
Bless.
And Blossom, is the first time I'm hearing you when I call.
Thank you for joining.
I called so much times and I never get you. Or try to call you. Because, you know, I'm accustomed to that program and them. And the lady, your new guest, good morning.
Good morning.
What my sister just said, and is actually another sister by another mother too, that you all keep doing that over and over. And that's not the subject matter this morning, right? But you all keep doing that this morning as an example, where when people call on the program, when you're supposed to have a call-in program, no answer is taken, or you're not responding. And what you just did there is what you're supposed to do normally. Even if your guest is talking, which their point need to come out, because that's what they are there for. You take the call, you don't necessarily have to answer, like you just said, good morning, and then I speak. So that I know I'm connected. That's how it's supposed to be. Ms. Blossom, good morning again. Mr. Kennedy, as I spoke to you just even Friday, that this whole issue of politics is not my kind of thing nowadays. I've given up on that a lot of time. Or a long time, sorry. And to the extent that everything is made political, I have a serious problem with it. We have a government now that is making a serious set of mistakes. I have no problem with that. Sorry, to say it. I have no problem to say it. What I have a problem with is that how NDC have been dealing with the contradictions that they have to approach. And honestly, I don't see any critical, subtle, at the same time too, initiation coming from NDC that will create a buzz. Maybe I'll have something in the pipeline. Like I tell you, I don't take part in party politics. Maybe I'll have something in the pipeline, and hopefully I'll hear something creative. As much as the government is doing dotishness, as I call it sometimes, it seems like it's working better for them, whoever them is, than for the NDC party. You get what I'm saying?
My brother.
Thank you very much, caller.
It was nice seeing you Friday after a long time, and you would acknowledge that there was a buzz in Grenville on Friday. When Sister Franca and the team walked through the market, you saw the buzz. You saw how people were coming out and inquiring what's going on there. They see some action. That was the reality of what the party is doing now. And you have to acknowledge this is 4 months. Today, the 3rd of March, is exactly 4 months since Sister Franca became the political leader. And already we are seeing the difference in many ways. So the party understands that a lot of people out there are recognizing that the NNP is doing a lot of nonsense. And as he said, he's willing to say it because it's real. People are feeling it. And I want to reassure you, my brother, and I want to reassure the country that Sister Franca and her team are doing things in a manner where it can be more sustainable and where you will really feel the impact. Because if you just stand up and you start to run around and jump as a fish out of water, you wouldn't have any sustainability. But we've been working with her. She has a methodical approach to getting things done. She wants to build a team. She wants to talk to people. She wants to listen. And that's what she's doing. And we know that Dr. Mitchell could call the election anytime he wants. but we also know that we have a 5-year constitutional term. So this month is going to be 2 years since the last election, and we know people are anxious to hear and see more, but Sister Franca is pacing herself well, because we know this is not about a sprint. This is about a marathon, and we're running the marathon.
Good morning.
Good morning, Blossom. How are you? And morning to the gentleman and lady. Were you all the hosts in the program last night behind the headline? I don't know if I had the voice right.
Sorry, say that again?
The program beyond the headline.
No, it was hosted by Mrs. Campbell.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Because I didn't know the voice too well, but there were the 2 doctors there, and they was trying to, talking about Ebola and quarantining and level-settle, and they mix it up. Well, apparently a lot of people don't know. There's people that live in that know the whole history of this place, and I am one of them. Because my grandmother born in 1914, and she died in May, the 1st of May 2019, and she was the matron in the leper settlement, and my grandfather was the steward, and I lived there from 3 years till I have 13 years in the leper settlement. So I know a lot of history about the leper settlement and quarantine station. I can explain to people what it was like and what it is, how the things come about. But apparently, sometimes people don't want to listen history in Grenada, but it seems as a section of people that would like to know something about these places. I can explain a lot. I'm telling you, the road where you see going to La Luna, that road going to La Luna, that road was created for the leper settlement. The leper settlement was sitting right where the La Luna have all these villas. There was 6 buildings there, right? And I can give space and fit. Leper settlement closed its door in 1968. And the last 2 patients there, because the government could not, it took costing to keep them up, they had sent them to Trinidad. The places, I can tell you, some places that patient came from, they had patients from Momjalu, a new one from St. David's, and there were one from Carriacou. Now, quarantine is completely different to leper settlement. In those days, no one wanted a fish from that area because of these 2 hospitals. The outbreak of cholera was in quarantine. After the outbreak of cholera went away, there were soldiers based in quarantine from the war. And then where after these soldiers went, they had things like the Barbadian in those days, we used to call them army, the Barbadian regiment, the Jamaica regiment, all these regiments used to come there and for some times. Okay. And then it changed to where you're doing all the weddings and things, and that I can explain a whole thing.
Okay, we got it. Time. Yes. So thank you.
One of these days you all wish it for I to explain and tell you all about these places,
we would definitely get in touch. Thank you so much. All right.
Yeah. Well, time does fly when you're having fun, and the little history the caller is giving there is important to know these things and document it. So probably he should write a book, because I've heard him over the years calling in on the radio and talking about it, and it's very interesting because a lot of people I realize it's just in the 60s there that the leper settlement closed, but quarantining for a case like COVID-19 is a different kind of thing as compared to a leper cholera and leper settlement and so on. But in terms of that process, it is something that the government is doing now with regards to persons coming from areas that are of concern, and it's something that the public needs to understand the concept of quarantine.
All right, we have quickly run out of time, like you said, Mr. Roberts. Maybe just 1 more minute to wrap up. Any final comments?
Well, as Kennedy was saying, as the caller was saying, they're not seeing NDC. And as Kennedy explained, and I usually explain to people who had the same sentiment, if you have a piece of land and you're preparing to plant, it takes time. You have to plow, put a seed. It takes a seed sometimes 3 months to germinate. So we ask them, the political leader, she's out there, she's doing things. Sometimes you may say you don't see her, but other people see her. So we are working for, this is 3 months, you said? 4 months, and she's out there. So everything takes time, but we are there working.
So come out on Sunday in River Sally Government School. Let us have a good fun day with the political leader and the team. On Friday, the 6th, South St. George's, St. David's, and on Saturday morning, Sister Claudette having a breakfast on the Carenage. So a lot of things happening this weekend, and we look forward to the continued support. The vibes is nice out there. People are calling and giving good positive feedback, and we're continuing the work.
Thanks you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bunks in
the bunks again.
Exactly.
I'm just not going to start with chest bunks because I will say the
That's too close. That's too close. Thank you so much again to Mr. Roberts and Miss Pascal for passing through this morning. That's the end of the program. Keep it locked to Classic and the GBN. Brenda is up next with Mid-Morning Buzz. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, God willing. Until then, be safe, have a productive Tuesday, and have a fantastic, fantastic day.